Welcome to Le Foot, your podcast about French football. We're back, and in this week's episode, we give you our take on the three matches in the Champions League where Monaco, PSG, and OM all lost. We will also give you our thoughts on next week's Champions League games when the league stage is being closed and our French teams are in a very interesting position. Also, how does it look in the Europa League and Conference League? We give you that too. Meanwhile, League One rages on, and we will bring our top moments from the previous weekend, as well as looking ahead with a top fixture on Saturday, OM versus Lens, as well as tricky games for the bottom teams. And of course, Club of the Week. Let's go! Hello Dennis, how has your day been?
It's been good. It's been a lot, but good. I've been in meetings almost all day.
Fun.
So yeah, fun.
Fun as always.
Fun, always fun.
What about you, Jeff?
Great, thank you. Really excited to get talking about the Champions League games.
A lot of football has been played since last time.
Yes, we got a lot to talk through today.
On to the Champions League.
All right, we'll kick off with the first game played on Tuesday. It was Real Madrid versus Monaco. Big numbers, 6-1. Monaco conceding the first goal in the 4th minute of the match. I mean, what can you expect from there? 6-1. It's too much, isn't it?
It's embarrassing. I find it, teams on this level playing against each other, I know it's Real Madrid, but I find it embarrassing. Some parts of the Monaco team, I'm thinking about Kehrer, Eric Dyer in the back. This is too bad. You're in the Champions League to compete if you're Monaco. And 6-1, I know it's a Real Madrid in crisis. I think it's a shame.
I think it's a bit naive. I mean, going into the game, playing the way they did, conceding the way they did, because a lot of them were on counter-attacks. Real Madrid representing, pace with players of Vinicius, Mbappe, etc. They had a playground. They conceded far too easily. And, I mean, I'm prepared to say that Monaco is in shambles. They are... losing consequently all over again.
Starting off Friday, losing against Lorient at home, and then you have going to Bernabeu. Of course, it's not easy. I think it's probably the most difficult place to go in the football world. But 6-1, the numbers are too high. I think at some point, leave it at 2-0. Keep your pride, walk home and realize we're a worse team. But I find that this is too much. I think when you look at the statistics as well, it's a pretty even game. Pass-wise, there's passes from both teams. I think Monaco was attacking as well, but like you said, maybe it's naive. I don't know how the coach prepared the team. Overall, I'm not too happy about seeing this kind of numbers.
But talking about statistics and the coach of Monaco, Pozugnoli, I had a look at some funny statistics, and the last coach with this poor winning rate that he's had for this season of Monaco was in 2018. And can you guys guess who was the coach by Monaco at that time?
No idea.
Thierry Henry.
He's in good company then, the coach.
Yes, I guess. But I mean, I think he's hanging loose.
And that's early. He came quite recently, a few months ago.
Yeah. But, I mean, they have the team to at least compete on a better level that they do now. And he's not strengthening his shares or, his authority in the dressing room or however you want to explain it by going away, getting taken at the bed. I mean, they're not... They're not doing well.
No, 6-1 it's too much. And I think the big problem is in the league though, right? Because they keep losing. Lose at home versus Lorient, with all due respect to Lorient. I think Real Madrid was never the issue. I think a loss is fine. But 6-1, and also the goal that Monaco scored, I think it's a bit of a giveaway from Real Madrid. They're starting to relax, play fun football. It's not like Monaco, okay, here we go, we're coming. Shambles, I think that's the word.
Yeah. Sporting against Paris. Beforehand, Paris could have more or less secured a top 8 spot by winning. But after 90 minutes, even though they were, I would say, far the better team, creating more chances, they lost 2-1. What happened?
Looking at this game, I think it was a good game of football from PSG, apart from scoring goals. They score 3 goals disallowed correctly, so that doesn't count.
But it's harsh. I mean, if you would have blown the whistle when the incident happened, yes. I mean, I would agree with you. But when, the game goes on, it's about 10 seconds later, they score a goal, I wouldn't be the happiest of persons,
And I must say, Luis Enrique looked like he was fuming. He's not in a content place, I think, because a bit of pressure is starting to mount. Of course, PSG is a fantastic football team. They're going to win something at the end of the season, I think. But here, they play fantastic football. They don't score the goals. And I started getting a bit of a feeling in the second half that PSG players, they think this will sort itself out somehow. Someone in the team will make that little extra and score that goal.
Which happened also.
It does happen.
Great goal.
It was fantastic goal by Kvaratskhelia. But I started feeling that when Sporting Lisbon scored 1-0, that's actually when PSG woke up for real. Because quite soon thereafter, they equalize. And then in the end of the game, the whole stadium burst out. Because then you have the shot, you have the save by Cavalier straight out. He's leaving the return straight out. And then Suarez in Sporting Lisbon can score his second goal. And I think at that point, PSG, they are defeated.
But I mean, that might be the issue. We've seen PSG winning the last game in the league, but before that losing against Paris FC in the cup. So, I mean, they've been bouncing these last 3 rounds. And now losing against Sporting when they had the chance to secure top 8 spots and rest players in the next game. I mean, it might be a league issue,
Maybe.
They don't have to compete regularly on a weekly basis against great teams as you perhaps do, in the Premier League or in La Liga, and it's hard for them to, winning the Champions League last year, always getting the focus and the energy that you need to have to win consistently.
Yeah, because Sporting Lisbon is not a bad team. And I'm thinking, when I look at the starting lineup, and you have Barcola, you have Dembélé, and you have Doué, all up there together, I think that in this game, at least with Barcola, it didn't feel 100% right. He didn't feel 100% on, and I like Barcola, I like the way he plays. But it's 3 fantastic players. They all have great technique. But when it came to, scoring the goals this evening, it just wasn't there. But what do you think about the second goal for Sporting Lisbon, leaving the ball as a goalkeeper? You're punching it straight out to a Sporting Lisbon player.
Poor performance. If not grabbing the ball, at least deflecting it in another direction.
To corner.
Out. I mean, it's his fault. But then I would also just like to say that, we remember from last year, again, that PSG, they didn't, they were not in the top 8. I think they were 12 or something. And then they just rallied on and ending up winning the whole thing. So, I'm not saying I'm afraid, but, it is worth asking questions.
I agree. And they have an injury situation as well that could be argued to be in their favor. It's not great, the injury situation. And they need players now, and we're going to get to that later. They need players performing both in the league and in Champions League, because that's where they are. I think previous years in the league and in the Coupe, everything probably felt quite soft. But up until now, for a long period of time, they have Lens competing.
Exactly, yeah.
So pressure is on.
Pressure is on, and the next game is very important because they play Newcastle. And I think they're on the same point, and a lot of other teams just behind them. So they would need 3 points there to secure the top 8. So they are definitely competing on at least two stages at the moment.
For sure. We have OM versus Liverpool. We have 0-3 on the score sheet.
We do, but before heading into the game, I would just like to bring up what a tifo they had before the game. Marseille is probably the best team in Liga to provide us with those amazing tifos.
It's amazing, and the whole velodrome boiling for a great night of Champions League football. It's amazing.
What did we see? Talk me through the tifo.
We had, of course, the homage to Corby, rest in peace. But then we also have the picture with the Beatles reading a newspaper.
A local magazine.
A local magazine about when OM actually beat Liverpool. I believe it was back in 2004.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to see. And the whole stands, I think the stadium was totally packed. And it was just one of those nights that when you watch this game, you can feel the atmosphere, you can touch it. And it's too shame, though. I feel it's a shame that it's not reflected in the result, really, because you can say that it was a one-sided game, but I don't think it was a one-sided game, but when you look at the quality in the core, something was off. I'm quite disappointed, especially final third of the pitch by OM's performance.
Yeah, and before digging into that, I would just like to say that everybody has their opinions about ultras, but I mean, no one can really complain on them providing a tifo like this.
Amazing.
But yeah, I do agree with you. And I mean, from my perspective, I felt the game was tight. And I think I said it in the last week's episode also that, you know, the first goal is going to mean a lot. I mean, some people might think that's stupid to say because, I mean, it always means a lot. But I think it's more from where Liverpool is coming from. Everybody knows they have the capability to, you know, compete on the highest level and beat any team. But on their form lately, you know, they've struggled to score and they've become a bit nervous when conceding the first goal. And I mean, Marseille, with the atmosphere that the Velodrome gives them and everything that comes with it, if they have scored the first goal, you know, I think the story would have ended differently.
Totally. And I think if you even look at the statistics, I think they reflect an even game, but somehow you felt that Liverpool was the bigger number. It was the bigger brother. In many aspects, I feel you can take the first goal from Liverpool. You have a free kick. Of course, it's a very good taken free kick and quick thinking by Szoboszlai. But we know you can also put a player there. He's a great shot. If everyone jumps, he can put it down there. I don't know what you think.
I think it's just one of them things that I can't remember on the top level, either in the Champions League, Europa League, etc., or in the big leagues, that anybody has scored a free kick, you know, below the wall recently. So, you know, ahead of these games, there's so many things as a coach that you need to provide to your players. You know, what to think about tactics, etc. So it might just be one of them things that you didn't think about. But I think this will be a wake-up call for teams going further in this tournament, that this is something that you will have in place.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that I think Liverpool had at least two great other chances to score. So did OM, but I find that 0-3, Liverpool should have won this game. I do agree with that, but I think OM must score some goals. I think Traoré, he has a great chance and he seems a bit stressed and hitting it above the crossbar. And then you have another in the end by Aubameyang, which Aubameyang, he scores goals in that position every time. Every time. And you can say it's a great save by Alisson, but I would say he's shooting right at the goalkeeper and he's alone with the goalkeeper. I've seen Aubameyang score goals from that position so many times in his career, but this just wasn't the night. And I think that's what's disappointing to me. It's such an atmosphere. You have Liverpool in town and you can't put up a better fight when it comes to the result.
Yeah, and it just might be one of them things, you know, that Marseille, they don't have the squad to compete week in and week out in the league, in the cup, and then also in the Champions League. So it gets affected in games of this kind when you play against a top opponent. And then if you miss your chances, I mean, you're out.
Yeah. And also, I'm not sure exactly how the Liverpool defense has been doing this season, but I think given how many goals OM has scored in the league, I'm disappointed to see 0 on the score sheet. They have Greenwood, they have Aubameyang. He came on late though, but they have Traoré. They have some attacking talent. And just seeing 0 and having a game ending 0-3, you don't want to see that at home.
No, you don't. But then at the same time, you know that, okay, well, they should have scored 1 at least. But I think Liverpool overall and defensively did a very good game. I think Frimpong now and also Kerkez this game, you know, is actually starting to step up, and both of them show to Liverpool what they did in their previous clubs, coming from Bournemouth and Leverkusen. So, yeah.
But it's a shame because I agree that for Liverpool this is a fantastic result and a fantastic performance in an away game in a tough place in Europe. But I think OM, they must be so disappointed. And I just need to add one thing. It's not only missing the chances that they scored. I think in the final third, trying to cross in and trying to put the crosses into the box, I think OM was too poor. I think Guiri, for example, he hit the first defender so many times, and that's not good enough playing in the Champions League. I think in a normal league game, sure, but in the Champions League you need to do more.
Hopefully a lesson learned, because next game they play Brugge, who's at the bottom of the table, and a win there will probably secure them for next stage in qualification, and that's a bit of money in, good for the club, for the city, to keep building this project that the Serbia has with OM.
Going forward, next week Champions League, the league stage is going to be concluded, and we're going to have Monaco playing against Juventus. We're going to have PSG versus Newcastle, and we will have Brugge versus OM. All teams playing 9 o'clock Central European time next Wednesday. What are your thoughts ahead of these 3 games? There's quite a bit at stake, at least for Monaco and OM. They are at the risk of going out, especially Monaco. And what do you think ahead of this?
I think Marseille and PSG has a lot to play for, especially OM. Because, I mean, PSG want to win to secure the top 8, but I think they'll manage to, compete in the tournament anyway. Whereas for OM, it's just more of being on the big stage, being able to play with the big teams. And since they're playing Brugge at home also, I think, in the last game,
It's away.
It's away. Okay. It's only their, it's only their game to lose.
Yeah.
Whereas Monaco, I think, they're probably already out.
And it's interesting because for Brugge, that's a bit of a final. If they beat OM, quite a good look at staying in the Champions League, going forward to the playoffs. But I agree with you that OM must really prove. They have a big game on Saturday, of course, but they must prove the qualities that they have, especially after that 0 against Liverpool. I want to see some goals. PSG though, also interesting because PSG is gonna still be in the Champions League, but are they gonna directly qualify or are they gonna have to do the playoff? And I think playoff round is never fun. You look at some teams down there in the playoff space. You have Inter, you have Juventus, Dortmund,
City.
I mean, it's tricky teams. And we saw Sporting Lisbon putting up a fight recently. So I think to skip these games and go straight to the end game, that will be important for PSG.
Yeah, massive. And then also looking at Newcastle, haven't been in the Champions League for many, many years up until, most recent years. So they love these kind of games. The atmosphere at St. James Park when Newcastle plays, or away for that matter. I mean, it seems like all the players in Newcastle just love this, even more than I think that the PSG players do.
That's going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah.
PSG versus Newcastle next Wednesday. I think, I have a feeling they're going to go out and win because Newcastle is they are not shy. They're going to do their style of play and they're going to try to beat PSG, but I think quality is high. We need to address a little bit though, Monaco versus Juventus. Is there anything they can hope for or are they out? I mean, they still have the position that they are through, but I think with the goal difference being that negative, teams below that can win their games. And I think against Juventus, I'm not sure. I think that Juventus should be better. They should beat them.
Yeah, and I mean, Monaco, yes, they're losing games, but it's not only that. It's about how they're losing their games. It feels like momentum is just nowhere to be found. Team lacks discipline. A lot of the goals conceded against Real Madrid, it was just like they were not there in their heads. It was like they lost the game beforehand. So taking points, winning or drawing against Juventus, they really need to make a change somewhere. No, I think they're out. I don't think Monaco is here to compete anymore in the Champions League.
Might even be good. Try to steady things up in the league instead.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I mean, concluding next week, the group stage is the former group stage. It's called the league stage now. Concluding this, and we have the results that we have the table that we have. Do you have any favorites to win it all?
A bit surprisingly, though, Tottenham in fifth place, going ahead just with one round left of the league, taking into consideration their poor performances in the Premier League. So that surprises me, but that's always fun. Who's going to win it?
You're saying Tottenham?
Yes. No, I mean it's so hard to say at this stage. Remembering last year, Liverpool is smashing the league and losing the first playout game against PSG on penalties. But I think just having to say one team, I think perhaps Barcelona.
You know what? I was going to say Barcelona. Somehow they're crawling there in the back, and you know that the level when they are at their best, I think it's the best in the world.
And I mean, they lost and went out against Inter with tiny margins. So I think they have a lot of revenge.
That was the craziest game of the whole year last year. Inter versus Barcelona. I mean, it was crazy. And I agree. I think Barcelona should have gone through.
Yes.
And we would have had a better final with PSG versus Barcelona because how that final played out, it was one team only.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, Barcelona, but we have to have another. Dennis, any other one that could make a run for it?
I mean, I'm an old gooner.
Okay.
So I have to say, I'll go with my emotions in this one and say Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the table, it makes sense. I have somewhat a feeling, though, that they're going to crash out. And
Probably.
they're going to crash out pretty soon. They're going to play Bayern Munich in a few rounds, or Real Madrid, or they're going to play PSG maybe. And I think it's going to be a bit too tricky.
Is Bayern Munich a real contender to be able to take it all?
I think so. I would say like this. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG, Arsenal. You also have Chelsea in there. Sometimes on a good day,
that's a lot of teams.
Yeah, but they are all up there, and I think they could all win it.
Chelsea.
Yeah. You never know.
With Rosenio.
No.
He's doing a Di Matteo.
No.
Di Matteo style.
No. I'm sorry. With Rosenio, no chance. I remove Chelsea from this discussion. No chance. We're good.
In the Europa League, we have Lyon and Lille participating, and Lyon taking it away. And as we record this episode, Lyon is up 1-0 against Young Boys, securing their top one spot, where Sulk have scored.
Again?
He's
doing it again. I don't know. I've been super doubtful over Sulch, but he's scoring. He keeps scoring goals. I think Lyon should look for a better attacker, but he's proving me wrong game after game. But I think they have a great position ahead of the rest of the winter and the springtime to do something really, really good. Of course, you have great teams still in the Europa League like Aston Villa. It's going to be tough. I think Betis, for example, as well. But Lyon, what do you think, Jeff? Can they go all the way?
I think they're definitely a contender. And you probably said the other two teams that I think might be capable of winning it, because looking at the league, I don't see that many good teams. I mean, we have teams such as Porto, Roma, Celta Vigo, Celtic. But
I think Roma and Porto at least could go far. But Lyon leads. That counts for something.
And behind them they have Midtjylland from Denmark. So I think it says quite a lot about
what's going on here.
Europa League right now.
What's going on here?
It's not the best teams, but yeah, very very good performance so far of Lyon.
And concluding on the league stage in the Conference League, we also have a French team up top, RC Strasbourg. Gary O'Neill. He's inheriting a team top of the Conference League. What do you think there? Do you think, are they favorites maybe even to win, Strasbourg, after the performances so far?
I wouldn't say favorites, since I think they have not convinced doubters, but I don't think anybody would have said, okay, after the league stages of the conference, you'd be at the top. But same there. I mean, looking at the league, we have teams as Mainz, Crystal Palace, who's in a very, very poor form at the moment, Fiorentina. So yeah, I guess they have a chance, but as we're talking about before, I don't know if Gary O'Neill is the man to bring Strasbourg forward.
No, I don't know. You have at least Fiorentina. I think they've been doing terrible in Serie A, I know that, but I mean, looking at the Conference League and the other teams that are there, I think it's not the tournament of quality, really, to be honest with you.
No, and last year, for the listeners here in Sweden, I mean, Djurgården did quite well and played against Chelsea. I think it was in the semi-final even, which was not either expected when the Conference League started.
No.
So, but fun at least for, getting some Europe competition, playing as other teams on that stage.
For sure. Yeah. But Liga teams doing well, but let's see when we conclude the season. But so far, good.
Yes, and they don't pick up their next game until the 12th of March.
Quite a long time.
In the Conference League, yeah.
Yeah, quite a long time. But I will, before we conclude on this week's Europe and European games, what do you think? Is there any other takeaways from the Champions League games that you watched?
I just think that Gary O'Neill has a couple of months to grease the wheels for Strasbourg to, get the team up and running.
Yeah, getting them away from the senior manager style.
Yes. But, sorry, what was your question again?
I mean, anything else you picked up from Europe, be it French teams or overall from Champions League, any outside? I think Arsenal's been doing outstanding. Really, really good. What a Champions League run they've had so far. Arsenal. I think they've won 7 games in a row.
7 out of 7.
7 out of 7. But the thing is, that doesn't count for nothing when you get into the knockout stages. So shouldn't celebrate too early. Great performance though.
Yeah, another corner goal and Victor scoring again. So
it's very good. Very impressive.
Club of the week. Every week we draw a club in Liga and present you a few points to get to know them a bit better.
AS Monaco today. And it will be me. Okay. AS Monaco, for you football crazy folks out there, you know that it's a classic club. 8 league titles and good runs in the Champions League. One important fact I would say here is that they went all the way to the Champions League final in 2004, where they lost 3-0 against Jose Mourinho's classic Porto. One other thing, which I think geography interests people know, and I think everyone in general maybe, is that Monaco is basically another country. It's minority owned by the royal family, Grimaldi. Sounds a bit Shakespeare-esque, I find. But they're playing in the French league. And this actually gives them some advantages when it comes to tax, especially for foreign players and their salaries. So I think when we talk a bit about the previous episode, what is the transfer strategy? I think bringing in foreign players is actually a strategy for Monaco. Despite of that, they've had so much French talent. You have Mbappé, Thierry Henry, and then, of course, Lilian Thuram. But you have other players as well, such as David Trezeguet, you have Georges Weah, Fabien Barthez, Falcao, and the list goes on and on and on. It's not many clubs in the world and in Europe with such a record of star players. However, none of those are the top goal scorer. That is the Italian-born Argentinian Delio Onnis with 223 goals between 1973 and 1980. Imagine being the top goal scorer in a club where you have the players that I mentioned before.
And he's actually also the top goal scorer for the whole of Liga with 299 goals.
I didn't know that.
He also represented Rennes, I think it was.
Okay, okay.
He's the top.
That legend, Delio Onnis.
Yeah.
Damn.
Credit where credit is due. That's amazing. And, you see Thierry Henry. Of course, Thierry Henry was young. Mbappé was young. David Trezeguet as well had a fantastic career. World Cup winners, all these. But, I mean, the fact that we have Delio Onnis as the top goal scorer, I think it's amazing. I also need to mention a bit about the stadium, Stade Louis II. It's an amazing location. I mean, by the water, and if you kick the ball on the right side a bit hard, I think you might actually have it land on a yacht or another luxury boat right down there in the harbor.
Well, why is it called the second? Is it because Louis II was the king the second, or was it a first stadium that got demolished?
I think it's a first stadium, but it is a very old stadium.
Okay.
It's a very old stadium. But if you look there at the positioning, I mean, it's amazing. For anyone who doesn't know, it's basically a Mediterranean vacation picture right there by the harbor. And imagine sitting there on your boat on the water, listening to the roars of the football team scoring, even though the attendance at Monaco's home games is not the best, should be said. Top moments from match week 18. There was Liga playing this weekend as well. We talked a lot about Champions League, but a lot of great football. And
we have Nantes in Paris. Very interesting game. We saw Kibal putting in a lot of effort.
We talk about him a lot, but there's a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason. He's all over the pitch.
All over.
Yeah, he's doing such a good job. And Koleosho coming in the second half, scoring his first goal, making his debut in the Liga as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And scoring that, such an important game, because I was a bit worried for Paris FC to get drawn into the bottom, and this is a big win.
Yeah, definitely. Although we had a beautiful goal by Mathis Ablin.
Amazing goal.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, go and look it up.
Wow, yes. We definitely recommend that. Well, Nantes really shaping up during the second half, or really increasing the pace of the game. However, it doesn't really go all the way through for them.
I mean, how many days is it now since they last won a home game?
It's been, I think, 140 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That smells like being relegated.
Yeah.
I think these kind of records is always something that comes, and when you hear about them, normally doesn't end well.
Yeah. It's very strange.
Very, very strange. And another thing we need to talk about from the weekend is the Dembele goal on Friday. He has 3 defenders and a goalkeeper between him and the goal. He's dribbling, and then he decided to do a chip or a lob, and it's amazing. I think that's why he won Ballon d'Or. That is amazing. One of the best goals I've seen, at least in a year. The quality there is incredible.
Is one of these goals that, this was very individual, but it takes me back to goals that like Bergkamp did for Arsenal, and I think Zlatan's goals at Ajax, even though that's a bit of a half of a messy run, but those kind of goals, one would be remembered.
The football world stops up, and everybody's watching and seeing what a great player this is. I agree.
And I think Johan Elmander also had one. If it was for Bolton, he had a similar one with the 2 foot. Between there, But then, Dembele is Dembele, so when he does it, he has the capability, whereas Johan Elmander, who also played in the Liga for a long time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think also doing the lob of the chip, it's a millisecond where he takes that decision. He has 3 defenders in front of him, and somehow he managed to get it high and then low.
And he's inside the box while he's making the chip, or just outside?
He's just outside. Just outside. And that's quite a distance. And you have a goalkeeper standing. I think the goalkeeper is a bit far out. I think the goalkeeper tried to rush a little bit to be ready, but I think everything to Dembele here is amazing. But speaking about amazing players, we also have Endrick, his second game, man of the match again. 2 games in a row now. 1 in the Coupe and 1 in the league. It's fantastic.
Impressive. And I think he, continuously throughout the game, he was getting a lot of passes from his teammates, and he always went for attack.
Attack, always.
Most of the time he came true.
Yeah.
Delivered passes into the box, so he was a threat throughout the entire game. And again, a very good performance from him.
And it's so uplifting to see a football player finally just heading towards attack constantly. I think that's like a dream player for attacking side. It's as soon as he gets the ball, he challenges, he makes an aggressive pass, he has such technique, he has a great shot. I think having him in Lyon now is gonna be a joy.
Yeah, and they had a good momentum before him joining. So even now, like when he now has joined as well, like they're performing very well. But to this game also, Brest got a red card, another red card in this league, very early. So I think that set the tempo out the game. You know, they were outnumbered from early, which also, you know, gave them more space throughout the entire game. So not saying it was an easy win, but a game that they should have won for sure.
And we also saw quite a bit of goals, both Toulouse and OM scoring 5 goals each versus Nice and then Angers. And I think we're going to have to return later on this season, unfortunately, to Nice again, because I think they changed the manager, they grabbed a point versus Strasbourg, but now it feels like they are back to losing ways. And Claude Puel, sure, they brought in Wahi. I think he's still looking like an exciting player up front, but losing 5-1 when you're in trouble, and now they look to be even more in trouble, given that Le Havre also took a point away to Rennes, which was a bit unexpected.
It's not nice.
Upcoming match week 19, we have interesting games in the top, we have interesting games in the bottom, and I think if we start off Friday, we're going to have Auxerre versus PSG, and I feel it's a bit unfortunate because I want Auxerre to stay up. Don't ask me why, but I think sometimes they play great football, scoring great goals, and I think they deserve to be a little bit higher. Of course, the table doesn't lie, but playing PSG at this time, I think they're going to have a tough evening.
I mean, always challenging playing towards PSG, but as we've discussed, PSG is bouncing a bit, you know, going up and down. I don't expect them to lose this game, but if Auxerre would play them at any point, might as well be now compared to 3 months when, you know, they're expecting to be in their best shape, competing in the Champions League semi-final, or, you know. Senayoko had quite a decent game last round coming back from AFCON.
But it's 2 tough ones in a row when you have Lens away and then you have PSG at home and you're in the bottom. You need every point you can get. I hope they can keep the spirit up even if they get 2 losses out of these 2. Because it's basically the toughest teams in the table. What about the big one this weekend? OM versus Lens on Saturday evening. What a game.
What a game.
At the Velodrome, you're going to see the competitors Lens for the title. Probably they're going to be second at that point because PSG might have won at Auxerre already. But I don't know. I think it's going to be super interesting to see. I have a feeling that Lens might drop a point. But again, watching OM's attacking force against Liverpool yesterday, I feel confused. What's your take? What can we expect from OM versus Lens?
It's gonna be really tight for sure. But to the advantage of Lens, they have not played Champions League this week. They have waited.
Well rested.
Defensively, best team in Liga for the moment. Probably among the best teams defensively in Europe, to be fair. So I think it's just really up to Marseille getting the quality in and scoring on the chances that they create, because they can't miss chances as they did against Liverpool now towards Lens, because they're not going to get that many. But then also, you know, perhaps speaking for Marseille, Lens is not used to playing these big away games, coming in as a favorite, you know, having to win, well, almost every game now if they want to win the league from PSG. So a lot of press on their shoulders also. Are they able to I don't know, just win the game and keep on winning?
Yeah, because I think they have 8 in a row in Liga. But this now, out of those 8 games, this is now coming to the toughest one. And away to M, I agree with you. Coming there with that environment, with the fans, and having the pressure on you to win, being favorite, I'm not sure about. I think the odds, of course, it will be a bit even. But I think when you look at the table, they are favorites. They're expected to do something here. And I also heard that Odson Edouard is a bit unsure for this one, whether he will be back. I think they will need him because against Auxerre, yeah, they won. They won stable, and they won fair. But I think 1-0 at home versus Auxerre, it gives me a bit the vibe that, are they starting to shake a little bit, Lance? I'm not sure. And this is the wrong game to play when you're a bit shaky, I think, because when we want to show their fans something special after this Liverpool game.
And I mean, if Marseille has any hopes of winning the Liga, this is a must game. If they lose this one, PSG wins also. They're too far back, and there's no coming back from that.
You think they can still get in the race, OM, if they win this one?
I would say no, but it's going to be definitive if they would lose. And I think the supporters, the players, everybody would agree on that. Whereas now, I mean, if PSG still wins and they win, it's still probably a lost cause. But, I mean, a minimal chance.
For sure. And I think, speaking of that, we have... because pressure is on Lens, but also pressure is on both these teams. You have Nantes versus Nice. What a game with a lot of dark emotions, I feel. You have Nantes, they can't win at home. You have Nice, in trouble overall. What do we expect? A draw?
I mean, sure, given the history we just spoke about with Nantes, could this be the turning point?
For Nice, you mean?
For Nantes?
Okay, this is the team they need at home. Remy Cabella, 2 goals. Maybe. I think this one is even as well. I think who's in the worst place? Of course, Nantes in the table, but it's gonna be tricky. I think Nantes needs to win this one. 4 points up to Nice. They can't drop.
But this is a 6-point game, similar to OM and Lens. They can't lose this.
No.
The gap is gonna be too large.
Yeah. And then you have Auxerre and Metz. They need to win every single game now to even get a chance, I start to feel like. And they won't do that because Metz has Lyon and Enric flying high. Do you think Metz at home could have a chance versus this Lyon? Tricky one.
No, I don't think so. And I mean, Lyon with the form they have, and also Sulch scoring bangers.
I think you need to relax with Sulch there.
He's scoring bangers now also. So, no, I think they'll struggle.
You know what? I got the feeling now that you're saying Sulch that Metz will actually grab a point here.
Okay.
I think they might. Sulch. Everyone is flying on the Enric and Sulch hype, and then it comes like a letter on the post, so to speak.
And then also, I think Lille Strasbourg is going to be an interesting game because I still feel like I don't want to judge Gary O'Neill too quick. So this is probably the first proper test for him to play against a historical and also this year good performance Lille to see where they are. We
didn't even mention that Gary O'Neill got his first victory in the East Derby against Metz last weekend. We need to mention.
But that was Metz.
That was Metz. And you know what? I heard some reports that I didn't watch that game, but I've read and seen some people's opinion that it should have been a draw. It was not. But of course, in a derby, you get that kind of feeling. It's a lot of emotions. But Gary O'Neill, 6 points out of 6 heading into this game.
First game was a cup game, though.
Third tier team. Yeah, but I think for sure we're going to give Gary O'Neill his chance. I think we're not going to be too harsh in advance. But interesting for the European spots as well. That's going to be a really interesting one. And then Lille as well, playing in Europe this evening as we speak. Super interesting. That is it. Follow us on socials at Le Foot Podcast. Subscribe to us and give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. And tell a football-loving friend. For queries, you can always reach out to lefootpodcast@gmail.com. And have a great day and see you next week. Au revoir.